All right, here we go. Here's another dish that I have never made before and I haven't practiced it yet. So we're going to learn together today. We put miso and pasta together. What could go wrong? So today we are making a miso pasta. If you know me at all at this point, I love fusion food. We're kind of doing like a Japanese / Italian. It requires very few ingredients, so I'm really excited about this. I know there are other miso pasta recipes out there, but I'm just kind of going off of this guy here. I kind of have an idea in my head and we're just gonna rock with it, and I think it's gonna be delicious. Let's just get right to the ingredients. Obviously the key ingredient here is miso, about 1.5 tablespoons to start. And you'll probably wonder why I have it in such a big bowl here. It's because we're actually going to dissolve it with the pasta water so we don't get like big chunks of miso. It's basically gonna be a emulsification of pasta water, butter, and the miso, and that's what's gonna be the basis of our sauce. If we do this correctly, it should be very creamy without any cheese. So very similar to the bulgogi spaghetti recipe where we use pasta water to create that creaminess, we're gonna do the exact same thing with this miso pasta, so the techniques are very similar. I am opting to use butter. Butter and mushrooms go together very well. And to me, butter and miso are gonna complement each other better than olive oil and miso. And the reason why I'm keeping the number of ingredients so small is because I really want the miso to be the star of the show here. I'm using mushrooms because for some reason it just makes sense to me. I'm just going out on a limb. I can't explain to you why. I have 8 ounces here, okay? And then for butter, they're so effing loud. It pisses me off. They've been working since 6:30 and they woke me up and I wasn't able to sleep well, and I'm a little crabby panda today. So we'll use 8 ounces of mushrooms. For butter, I think I'm gonna use about 3 tablespoons, just enough to kind of create the basis of the sauce. And then, will you settle down, please? I never know what they do back there. Then we have 8 ounces of pasta. I'm using a bucatini today. It's basically hollowed out spaghetti. It is up there as one of my favorite types of pasta. Pretty similar to our bulgogi spaghetti recipe. We'll partially cook it, about 2 minutes less than package instructions, and we'll finish it off in the sauce using the pasta water as a thickening agent and to cook the rest of the pasta. This is all you need to make the miso pasta. I have some optional garnishes here just to be a cool kid. Got sesame seeds, roasted seaweed. I'm gonna cut into little strips. I'm trying to film an episode! Anyways, and I got green onion here. So, ingredients, pretty simple. Now let's move to our equipment. So you probably wonder why we would use a frying pan versus a saute pan for pasta. And you've seen me use both before. For pasta dishes like this that require a lot of tossing, a lot of shaking, a lot of agitation to form that sauce, I stick with this frying pan here because it's easier for me to toss ingredients in. However, sauces that require a long time to cook down, I use the saute pan because it retains heat better. At least the stainless steel one does. Also, if I'm searing ingredients to develop a fond, I use stainless steel because it produces a better fond because it sticks to the surface, which is what we want in those types of dishes. Just trying to explain my thought process behind selecting one. I'm not saying it's absolute truth and that you absolutely have to use one over the other, but that's just the reason why I do things the way I do. So we're going to be using the frying pan today because we're going to be using a lot of tossing, doing a lot of tossing. It is weird carrying pans like this. Just like the bulgogi spaghetti, spagooter, we're going to be using the saute pan to boil our pasta in because less water equals more starch, and that's what we want because we want to create that thick sauce. Okay. Do I need to clean this a little bit? Anyways, that's pretty much it.
Let's get cooking.
Hi. Before we start to prep the ingredients, I'm going to boil some water. We'll start with our garlic, cut into thin slices. Try to cut as thinly as you can. The thinner you go, the more flavor you'll get from the garlic. Set that off to the side, and then we're gonna cut our mushrooms. Take out the stems first. Chop these into slices. No big deal. Grab your seaweed, cut into thin little strips. I probably could have gone a little thinner here, but I was a dum-dum, so go a little thinner if you can. Set that off to the side for later. For the green onions, cut this on a very steep steep bias. That way you're gonna get like these really long, like nice strips. And once that's done, throw that in an ice bath. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna remove some of the harshness. After you put them in the ice bath for about 30 seconds, just set them off to a side in a paper towel lined bowl. We're gonna go over to the stove and put our butter on medium-high heat. Once that's completely melted, go in with your mushrooms with a good pinch of salt. Be careful with the salt though, because miso is already pretty salty, so you don't want to overdo it here. The salt is really here to draw out the moisture from the mushrooms and help them cook faster. We're gonna let this go for about 4 to 5 minutes until all of the moisture from the mushrooms have been released and you start to see this nice golden brown texture. So now I'm gonna go with my pasta and make sure everything times out correctly, because my pasta only takes 6 minutes to cook normally, but remember we are going 2 minutes shy, so only 4 minutes here. Make sure you salt your pasta water. Because this is a salty dish, we're gonna use less salt than usual, and then I'm gonna put the garlic into the pan with the mushrooms. I'm gonna stir that around a little bit, let the garlic toast up, and while that's cooking, I'm gonna grab 2 ladlefuls of pasta water and put that into the bowl with miso. Whisk really well until the miso is completely dissolved. At this point, we're gonna pretty much stop the searing process and go in with our miso water mixture. Shake the pan around pretty well. We're going to emulsify the fat from the butter and the pasta water to create a base sauce. It's not gonna get super creamy yet. Once the pasta is done, we're going to transfer it into the pan directly, and we're gonna shake this around, and I want you to really hear for the sound that the frying pan is making. You wanna hear bubbling as opposed to frying. If you hear frying, that means there's not enough water in there. So once you start hearing that frying, that's when you go in with more pasta water. I ended up using about 3 ladles of pasta water, and I was on medium-high heat. You wanna kind of maintain a consistent simmer/boil. And this is a good time to practice your pan flipping skills as well. So with my left hand, I'm kind of shaking it back and forth, and while my right hand is kind of going in a circular motion. Every once in a while, I'm going to toss the pasta. I push hard forward, and then I pull back pretty sharply, and that's going to cause the flipping. Every once in a while, taste for doneness. Once it's al dente, you are good to go. Taste for seasoning here too, because miso is not the same across all brands. Some might be saltier than others, so you gotta kind of pay attention and see how salty your miso is. At this point, you're gonna see that it's pretty creamy, but try to make it a little more watery than you think you need to, because when the sauce cools down, it will stiffen up quite a bit. Get to the point where it's like, it might be a little runny. Plate up your pasta. Top with the green onion, the seaweed, and some sesame seed. You're good to go. Let's see how this turns out. All right, here we go. Miso pasta. This is a first timer for me. Look at that. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for this. I mean, this is gonna just be epic. Let's just go for it. Ooh, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, that's really good. Just loads of umami. And I'm really trying to figure out what this tastes like other than miso. It's really good. It's like miso soup and spaghetti, or bucatini in this case. Got a little frisky one night and made a beautiful child. I dig it. I really freaking dig it. It's like very Japanese, but the textures are all Italian, right? Because it's pasta, obviously. Nice. The green onion is adding a nice little crunch, a little pop, and the seaweed just adds like another layer of umami. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, honestly. Don't mind me. I need to breathe when I eat. I should probably chew my food instead of swallowing it. Done. I am definitely going for seconds after I'm done recording this, but done. Here we go. Miso pasta is so simple. It's quick and easy. It feels light. Usually pasta feels like very heavy to me, but this one's relatively light. Out of all the garnishes, I would say you should use the green onion because it really does provide a little texture change and a little flavor profile change. So I highly recommend the green onions. I love making fun food like this. Like miso pasta is like, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, duh, that makes sense. So yeah, that's about it. This is the last episode of Panda's kitchen. In this kitchen, I'm actually moving to a different apartment in a couple of days here. So it'll be a new kitchen, new setup, new everything. I'm super stoked about that. This is a good send off for this place. I'm really excited to work in the new kitchen. I think it looks nicer too. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next time in the new kitchen. Talk to you later. Bye. Check 1 2 1 2.
Mic check. You know how it do. It's your boy. You know, is Mr. Carter, Mr. K, Big K Willie out here making an appearance on the show. I don't make food. I drink water though. You feel me? drink that water. You know, Herbalife, I ain't sponsored though, but you know, I drink about 2 of these a day, 1 gallon, but I drink like 3 or 4, so that might be 2.5. I don't do math, you know, I'm black, but yeah. Anyways, though, like, I don't know what I'm doing on here, but I don't make food, but I eat food. So like, if the Panda King got food for me to eat, I'll eat it for you. I got you, okay? Like, period. Anyways, like, let me get out of here because you know I'm done. All right, y'all, bye.